Hail, hail, the Celts are here. And no, that's not me doing an impersonation of Santa or anything about it, but we have kicked on live, and I am just now finding the team sheet. It's right bang on the money, right bang on time. We tip our cap to Celtic social media for the timing on the team sheet. Again, we are 1 hour 45, 1 hour 15 away from kickoff. And the team guys, we are going to need the tactics board to go for this one, by the way. Wow. Schmeichel, Trusty, right? Yang, McKeown, Kenny, Bernardo, Dyson and Rio, McGregor, Ralston, Tierney. This is this is going to be crazy, isn't it? Where to start with this one? JSP makes it back to the bench. Scales is on the bench alongside Negren, Shinyamada, Arnie, the last action hero, Engels, Dane Murray, James Forrest, and Kobe Donovan. So, wow, yeah, where we find ourselves, you know. On top of this, of course, we've had Peter Lawwell's resignation or whatever we're calling it from the club. And, you know, we had another fantastic collaboration on the channel. It went live earlier this morning with Paul from Celtic Fans TV. Huge thanks again to Paul for joining us. And the thing I tried to open that show with was, other than like sack the board, like if you could change one thing to get like better results quite quickly. And one of the things I tried to put into the options was like the funk around the club. And I don't know if Peter Lawwell's, you know, because when you hear the Michael, we'll cover this on the channel properly and fully later on. But when you hear all the communication that's came out from Celtic, it's like quite resolute on the path they're on. There's no like throwing to the wolves of Peter Lawwell, as it were. It's very much more like he's maybe jumping on a grenade for the boys kind of vibes, you know. So they are still quite resolute on the path that they're on, etc. And, you know, I say we'll cover that in the fullness of time. But the away support tonight, I think they're maybe going to be a wee bit happier than they were prior to that news coming out. So maybe quite tactful from Celtic in that regard. But we'll try and we've not also got the boys that are away to AFCON, which is one thing. We don't have Engels, he's on the bench. We've got Hatate, we have Tierney, we have Trusty, we have Ralston. That's probably going to be the back three. Scales is on the bench. Schmeichel's in goals, of course. And who else did we say that featured from the beginning? We've got Youngster, we've got McKeown, Shin's on the bench. We have Kenny in from the start alongside Bernardo. And Dane Murray's on the bench. Donovan's on the bench. There's no Forrest, is there? Is there Forrest? There is no Forrest. Oh, no, there is. There is. Forrest and the Negren are both on the bench. Awesome. So Bernardo is going to be in midfield, maybe with Hatate. Who else did we have? Yang's going to be on one side. McKeown. Or is McKeown going to be left back? Who else was starting? Trusty, Yang, McKeown. Yang, Bernardo, Hatate, McKeown. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Kenny. Yeah, so this is what it's going to be, isn't it? No, Maeda will be on the left, Hatate on the right. Bernardo, McGregor. This is what we're looking at tonight. It'll be interesting to see. It might, you know, I wouldn't even be surprised if it was maybe this way around. Sorry, McGregor's normally been playing here. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised actually if it was McGregor, Hatate a bit deeper, with Bernardo higher up the pitch. You know, because Bernardo fancies himself in that role, but equally, it could be this way around, where Bernardo fills in for Engels. I did say to you as well, by the way, like, and again, you know, Wilfred Nancy's back on Twitter, so maybe Wilfred Nancy has subscribed to the channel, but for me, like, Scales did, like, I thought Scales did a good job in left wing back, but unless Tierney's playing in left back, I don't think that's like a great solution, and I didn't think he was that comfortable in the centre, so this isn't really a huge surprise for me. I would have probably thought Donovan would have taken it on athleticism, but I guess he's going to go with Ralston for experience and leave the athleticism a bit more to Yang on this side. Whereas on this side of the pitch, you know, we expect Tierney to still be left back, kind of, when we're in attack, certainly. But you know that he's not going to be totally flying up the line, and that might just free McKeown a little bit more. Now, I was quite critical, quite damning in my assessment of McKeown playing in this position, and I stand by everything I said. But a lot of the context was coming off the bench at Hampden in the final, etc. I've been fully prepared to come into this position, Tannadice against Dundee United, where he's essentially going to be playing as like one of the attacking five, as the manager refers to it as, and for all intents and purposes, especially when Tierney's higher up the pitch, will be maybe a bit closer to his natural habitat in an attack midfield role. But it's quite it's quite convoluted. So we'll see how it goes out. I'm not too sure. Like, especially like McKeown's just not got the fleet of foot. You know, it doesn't quite cover the grass that quickly to be this lineman. So I think there'll have to be a wee bit of give and go on this side, where I'm sure Tierney is going to venture forward, but between him, McKeown, maybe even Bernardo, if he's on this side of the pitch, maybe it'll be McGregor. McGregor and Tierney play very well together for obvious reasons. And so does McKeown and McGregor. So again, this could be actually quite a healthy little triangle to try and make this work. You maybe lose. I was just going to say maybe lose a bit of pace on this side, but I guess you're just very much more like Ralston, just going to know, and tightening in with Trusty. Because against Dundee United, I'll go and get their team sheet open as well. We've got a team on this tactics board anyway from the last 11 that they played. It looks like this. I'll remove the Celtic team for a moment and we'll see if it's much different. But I think we're expecting them to play counter-attack football anyway. We're expecting them to forfeit possession to us. So this type of defence, like I see some of you guys saying, oh, Jesus, look at the back three. And I totally get it in that regard. But this is something that I've kind of wanted for Celtic in a fair while. Yeah, I don't know Dundee United that well to do a quick scan across this. But I see Sapsford. I see Amar Fata, Stevenson, Waters, Keretzetas. Who's on the bench? Dolchek. Eriksson, Trapikowski or whatever. Yeah, I think it's quite a similar team, isn't it? Maybe some of the defence is different, but I expect this to be, we know what Strain and Ferry are like. They're much more like fullbacks, aren't they? And this is just going to be Jim Goodwin 5-4-1 out of possession, I think, isn't it? With a counter-attack. So if we're up against that, we really just want Kenny and Maeda just buzzing in about everyone and causing mayhem. Hitate's played off the front line enough times to know what we want and what we expect from that. And again, depending on how deep and how narrow they get, like we should go into games thinking like this in some regard. Now, I personally, between the midfielders, I think this is again the long-standing issue we've had at Celtic of like we need a defensive midfielder. I think again you really want someone in here that's borderline a centre back, you know, but they're like a midfielder type, so that when this does like kick into gear, you've got real protection and recovery. Like if you've got to run up the pitch to chase somebody in a 1v2 for this guy, but with someone helping out, a 2v2. I don't mind this. It's very gung-ho. We've still not cracked it yet. And, you know, like I said, one of the things about the way Nancy started is at least you've got to give him credit for he starts the way he means to go on. And at least all the work he's been doing at this point on his priority list that he mentioned in some of his earlier press conferences, he's been working away at them. So the harmony, the synergy, the understanding, you know, we're now not 10 days into the job, we're closer to, you know, longer than that, obviously. So, yeah. Let me see your thoughts and feelings in the chat. Smash the like button. Let me know what you think. Does this fill you with confidence coming into the game? A lot of changes. And again, to look at the bench, we have Engels, we have Shin, we have Scaldini, we've got Murray and Donovan. We've actually got a defence on the bench for this game. The other players that made it onto the bench were JSP, Negren, and Forrest. So we've got JSP, we've got Negren, and we've got Forrest. So decent options from the bench, actually, and some different aspects of the team. Will we see Shin Yamada? I think we will. He'll have a right bit between the teeth. And with Inamura now looking like he's going to go back to Japan, this is probably last chance saloon for Shin, where this manager is going to give him a crack at the whip. And if he can't cut it, then we're probably going to be hucking him back to Japan and we'll move on. But if he can crack it and he can come in, then, you know, the shirt is there potentially. So good luck to him tonight in any minutes that he gets. Similar to Donovan and Forrest, it'll be interesting to see how they get used. If Donovan maybe comes on for Yang at one point in particular, I still say that I think that the best way to go would be Yang on the left and Donovan on the right for the time being. But as I say, I'm not in training, so hard to really know. And Maeda in this position, again, I'm a fan of it. You know, to be honest with you, a lot of people have been giving Nancy stick for this, but you want, like, fair enough. Maeda can lead the line. We've seen him do that for Celtic quite well. He's done it for Japan, of course. But part of if you think about the highlight packages you'd have seen from Dyson when he came from Yokohama, a lot of his goals are breaking into some left-hand space. And when he's the last line of defense, he's running on the shoulder of the last defender. There's not many times where he can just pop up and really use his acceleration to arrive out of a crowd and get onto something. So him being in this position here, and also just guaranteeing that there's somebody going to be ahead of him I think is huge because Maeda needs help, like he needs to be able to square the ball for tap ins. He needs to have somebody to give the defender or the goalkeeper someone to put them into two minds about and maybe increase his odds of success. So I actually quite like I like the prospect of Maeda in the support role. If this role can work properly, which it looked like it was going to with Iheanacho, can Johnny Kenny do it against Dundee United? It will be a big question because I think where Kenny struggled has been against the teams that are a bit more physical defensively. They're built on guys that are big strapping lads rather than much else beyond that. And yeah, I think we've seen it in the cup final. We've seen it against Hearts and somebody else. He's good. He's good for these games where half chances. I think Kenny's a good guy to be on the end of them, but it's like forcing the play. We're maybe waiting for Kenny to show up in a really big game, which this has became. I think we can all see it's a 6-pointer. And I can see it. I can see it. I can see him coming on for Ralston, maybe at halftime, maybe at 60 minutes or something. Again, maybe a bit of a last chance saloon for him, who the wide reports and the rumours of everything that came out for JSP is that his attitude stinks, is that he's not a good guy to have around the place and all the rest of it, which is sad to hear, isn't it? But such a good prospect. And with this change of shape, like, by golly, could we use him right now? So if the new manager can just mend bridges, give people a fresh start, that's maybe one of the things he has in his repertoire of like getting the squad buy-in. He can maybe tap into and maybe use here. It will be all eyes on the left, I think, because again, Tierney, can we expect 90 out of him? Probably not. But Tierney coming out for Scales, actually, just as a straight like for like, I don't mind that. That's quite good, actually. And again, we've got Donovan for emergencies, I suppose. And then behind everything we've just discussed here. So I actually don't mind this in a lot of ways. And even Scales could maybe even come on for McCowan if we needed them to. So I don't mind the back three. I don't mind the defence options from the bench. Midfield, we're very limited, aren't we? Very limited. Forrest is almost more than likely going to come into one of these positions off the bench for Maeda or Hatate. And with Bernardo, with everyone else kind of starting, the only kind of centrally kind of option is Negren, who's played in these deeper roles before. I don't think Nancy will ever play him there right enough. But yeah, we're still got some gaps. We'll obviously get Engels that can fill in there, of course, but just thinking about everyone else that's on the bench. So yeah, actually kind of an interesting squad. I don't know how to feel about the team coming into the game. I'm hoping the away support are kind of like, get a wee pep in their step just for the support for the match more than anything, And again, Nancy, it's his first time leaving Glasgow. So this will be a debut for him of sorts, really to Scottish football, going away to Tannadice, midweek under the floodlights, the terrible reffing, the pitch, everything, the wee dressing rooms. And again, this style of play, Ange ball, and we've done really well at Tannadice before. That size of pitch against a really intensive attack approach like Celtic are going to try tonight, and we've exhibited there in the past. It can play into our hands. I don't think we've had too many sucker punches against Dundee United over the years, but they have been tough once or twice, don't get me wrong. I think most of the time we've had like blockbuster scores against them rather than anything. Can I go and get the head-to-head open? Let's do that. Sugar. Head-to-head. Dundee United at home. So at Tannadice, the last time we went there, 5-0, 0-0, 2-0, 9-0, 1-1, 3-0, 3-0, 0-0. So yeah, like sometimes it can be kind of tight, but sometimes we smash them. 9-0, 6-0, 4-1s, 3s are a plenty. And this is going back to 2014. Obviously, they spent a few seasons out the top flight. But yeah, this can be a happy hunting ground for us. They have weapons of their own, but and for Ireland, like Ireland in those two games in the last international break, Scales was left wing backs against Portugal and what was the second game? Hungary, wasn't it? So yeah, Scales has definitely got the experience. Setup is madness. But see if it works for us, like domestically. Obviously, there's a tweak to be had. We need to get better personnel in there to completely balance it. But domestically, this is the sort of way we should be getting to. One of the things, I'll talk about it more when we get to it, right? But I kind of hate the fact that a lot of the chat that's come out of the official Celtic communication from the Peter Lawwell resignation is how it's like, oh, we've got a plan and now we're doing things the right way and we're going to bum. And they're totally missing the point of we've had a great trajectory for like 4 years, 5 years at this point, and we should be like at a canter right now. And when we are at a canter, we should be smashing Dundee Uniteds and all the rest of it, 4 5s and 6s on a semi-regular basis. Domestic domination. Then you go into Europe with that cutting edge, where you've got guys hot on form, confident, have the ability, have the synergy in the team. And yeah, like it would need to be balanced out against bigger opponents. But domestically, like Ange was almost getting there with us, and it did feel that the transfer policy kind of undermined it. And with Brendan, really, the transfer policy never really allowed him to progress at any point. He was kind of in damage limitation mode, transfer wise and squad wise for the most part. Not to get into the histrionics of everything too much right now, but thinking about any of the great sweet times, go back on the channel, go and think of a game that was semi good where we scored a couple of goals. And there's so many ones where you see that we've left stuff on the table, where we've not turned the dial up, where we've not really went for it. And that this regime promises to offer that, so if it can work, that's the upside. And that's what we kind of see potentially in this game here. Could be a great exhibition of it in that regard, and not an exhibition in terms of like the match, but like seeing the style of play kind of flying out on there. Because I do think, again, the venue might lend itself a bit better to this. And the team just need a win at this point and some goals, really, let's be honest. Now, I've actually got a bucket of fantasy football stuff going out this midweek, and I have actually got no squiddly-do idea if this team has just wrecked all of my stuff or not. So I know not all of you are here for it, but I'm going to have a wee peek. And yeah, I had a lot of scale. Oh, Jesus, man, yeah. I think everything's a wreck for me. So this is like 7-a-side fantasy football. So yeah, Engels is on the bench. Negren's on the bench. Engels is on the bench. Scales on the bench. Kenny, Dyson, Tierney, Donovan. Okay, this one's kind of half okay, isn't it? And then this one. Oh, good. They're all starting, but I've got Mitov in goals. I ran out of Schmeichels. Engels on the bench. Donovan on the bench. Yeah, that was a throwaway. Palma on that one. So yeah, a bit of a gutter for me. I wonder actually if anything's worth a wee last minute throw out here. I don't even have any essence for it. Nah, manana. I think we're gonna. I fancy us. See if we can play well tonight. We can win this. Like we can sincerely win this tonight. I don't. Do you know what would made me pessimistic around tonight? I'm not too sure actually. To be honest with you, I quite like the fact that it is. It's much changed the team. Yeah, I like the change. I'm kind of like, okay, let's like. I guess my expectations have been kind of neutralized. Coming into this game, I was somewhat fearful. I think a lot of you guys were. I've seen comments everywhere in chats, live streams, posts, replies, DMs of people betting, Celtic fans betting on Dundee United. Not that there was tons of it, but people talking about it, thinking like, Jesus, I believe we will lose. You should put money on it to hedge your bets and all that, or make yourself feel better. That chat has been around, if nothing else. But now, I don't know. I'm maybe back to neutral a little bit. I think the first goal is so crucial. We've conceded first under Nancy in every game so far. I think we really need to score first here. I think Bernardo Hatate will be interesting to see what way round those guys are. Who's where. But otherwise, I think the rest of the team's kind of semi-obvious. And yeah, wish the boys luck tonight, I suppose. I'm going to go for us to win, right? I'm going to go for us to win. Do we do it in style? I think we might. I think Bernardo's got a big point to prove. And the thing I said about Bernardo, somebody mentioned this as well back to me. They gave me like a really good point. I forget. Oh, it was Paul John. He was reading somebody's biography. And it was something to do with Brian Clough, but it's the same sort of thing happened to a player. But Paulo Bernardo has watched Celtic as much as me and you have. He's watched a lot of Celtic on the TV as well. So he knows exactly what's been kind of missing in the team. He knows what he needs to bring to the party. And we've seen that with the few appearances he's had so far. He's been like good, hasn't he? He's not been like game changing or revolutionary, but he's definitely added something that some of the other players haven't been given us necessarily. So I expect a big shift from Bernardo. He could be the hero of the day. He could be the headline maker, as it were, as could Luke McKibben, because there's been a lot of murmurs and rumours about him being told to get used to this, and don't know if he's totally bought in, but if he has a great shift tonight, if it really works in his favour, against this type of opponent, and he can maybe see where he could fit in this way. Maybe he could be the guy. You never know. Again, Johnny Kenny, the front three, always got the ability to write the headlines. But yeah, I'm going to go for Paulo Bernardo to maybe rejuvenate the midfield, to kind of maybe bring a bit of this together. Because like I highlighted with Engels in the St Mirren breakdown, he doesn't always fully progress the ball. He kind of nosebleeds, kind of gets lost sometimes, especially in this system where he's maybe a bit uncertain. But this system gives these players, like, look who's in front of him. There should always be like 3 options ahead, never mind a striker, never mind a big switch. I think Bernardo's a great player to feed that. So I think Bernardo could be the headline maker tonight. And I think we're going to win. I'm going to give us a 3-0. I'm going to give us 3-0 to the Hoops on this one. Bernardo to write the headlines. Now, the first goal will make or break this. The first goal will make or break this, to be honest with you. I'm prepared to have egg on my face here. But I do think like it could be like quite a stodgy first half. We maybe get a goal early, wherever. It doesn't really matter. But Shin Yamada is fighting for a career in Europe, because otherwise he's going to be playing back to Tokyo, just like Inamura is. And you know, that's not what he wants, of course. You know, so he's going to give everything to this. I think if you get Negren off the bench in this system, he should fit well. He should really fit well, and with good time on the bench, should keep the attacking momentum, whether we need it or not, or however the game's going. And like I say, the defensive options are good, because the defensive options from the bench have kind of undermined the team as the game has panned out. But Scales, Murray, Donovan on the bench and GSP, really, no matter who you need to change across the back line, even into the wing positions, there's like, don't I say sensible, but sensible options, you know. Sorry. Who would you pick for a punt? Oh, so if we're going to do winter, oh yeah. So for the winter quick play thing, I actually went with Johnny Kenny, which I've not actually selected him. Good catch. So Johnny Kenny, if he gets a wee decisive tonight, then we're jamming with us. Who do I think is good now that we've seen the team? McKeown, who I gave away. McKeown's a great one, because McKeown can take some sets as well. Yeah, McKeown will be on corners and stuff like that. McKeown's a great shout. L15 or 42. He could have a very good performance. Bernardo on 37 is fantastic as well, I must add. But yeah, if you're here for a bit of Sorare action, McKeown and Bernardo, if you're looking to do quick play tonight, they would be the best shouts to go for. Try and win a couple of bucks. But yeah, Johnny Kenny for me. Let's lock him in before I make the mistake of not having him there. His target's 54 points, so as long as he gets some shots away, I'll be happy. A goal will guarantee the win. Can we put together a fully committed 11? That's maybe what I think he's done. With some of the murmurs, like Scales' post-match comments kind of hung him out a wee bit, didn't it? Engels has not really been totally at it. Maeda's saying he'll now hang about for a bit. Now, I think that's a bit self-serving as well, to be honest with you, but maybe it's a wee bit of he likes this guy, and he's like, okay, I can do this. I know what you mean. I know what you mean with the Kenny comment. He's got that kind of, yeah, I kind of get it in a weird way. You've gone Waters. Oh, good luck to you. I hope that doesn't happen. Tuneki's away to AFCON. Yeah, everyone's away to AFCON. But yeah, I think no matter how the first half goes, I actually think there's maybe more goals on the bench than in the starting 11. So, and I think we can keep a clean sheet. I think Tierney, Rouse, and Trusty can keep a clean sheet. Yeah, I do. It's not like on the cards that we get a clean sheet in this game, but I fancy us to pull it off. And yeah, I could see a couple of goals. Yeah, I can see it. I'm going to go for 3-0 to the Hoops. If you're watching this after we've been live, the comment section will be open. That's where to leave your receipts on the internet. If you haven't done so already, hit like and subscribe for more content like this. But in the comment section, leave your receipts on the internet. What do you think the score is going to be? Who's going to be the headline maker? It might even be Wilfred Nancy, and for the wrong reasons. What do you think of the bench? Could there be somebody that kind of steps up and becomes counted here at this point? Does the team sheet made you feel better or worse? I don't know. But Calmac Screamer incoming. It could be one of those games for sure. And I don't know if I'm being optimistic. I guess I'm not being pessimistic. You know, I'd probably say I'm on the positive side of neutral. I'm just kind of I'm just kind of talking you through what we're seeing here coming into the game, and I'm just kind of trying to think it out, like what could happen, how should it happen, what will it look like, and yeah, like the attacking five. I fancy it to do stuff. I fancy it to do stuff, you know. But yeah, thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Make sure to catch the collaboration that we had with Celtic Fans TV. It went out live earlier today. It follows on from a fantastic collaboration we had the week before with Huddle Breakdown. Again, if you missed that, feel free to check it out. And like I said before, hit subscribe for more content like this as well. Hit the like button, of course, if you did enjoy the video. It just helps us grow the channel. Hail, hail, and we'll see you tomorrow for a breakdown. Mon the hoops. Cross your fingers for those set piece defending tonight.